spawning up here in the top left position. He is sporting the blue trunks. Give it up for Bradok or Bratok.
And his opponents in the bottom right side, currently, I believe he's teamless, if I'm not mistaken. He's the red Terran player representing Russia, only 18 years old, MilkiCow. We have another older generation versus a youngster here. It seems to be the trend overall.
Well, I think
we did have the youngster beat the old one first, but
well, you see, I think in this instance, it's MilkiCow telling Bradok to just move on over for the next generation. As we do get this mirror matchup underway, we do have very similar opens here. This is an aggressive opening, but it's not necessarily that kind of, oh, I'm going to kill you very early on. Basically what they're doing is they're getting that additional gas to throw down the factory much, much quicker so that they can kind of have a little bit of map presence out and kind of stay safe versus the other guy who's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, TVT is always like the openings, they can be so incredibly volatile, right? You could lose the game because of one single unit somewhere. And you know, people like to avoid that from happening. So a lot of players just kind of open up with the double gas, get themselves that barracks quick, and get themselves the factory to avoid that from happening. So far, both these players just playing the safe game. Looks like they're both going for the command center afterwards. So both do seem to be in a mindset where they do wanna just keep going here. No crazy all-ins or proxies clearly not happening.
Indeed, indeed. Now, the one big difference is that MilkiCow did go for the Reaper first, while Bradok kind of changed it up. He went for the reactor, so now he's going to be able to pump out 2 Reapers at a time, meaning he's going to commit to it just slightly more heavily. And as we kind of see right here, MilkiCow going to get caught. Already taking a lot of damage trying to go up that ramp. That's like going up to someone's front door that you don't know and that you've been insulting online for like ever, and they know you, so they just slam the door in your face with a bat.
Yeah, and some flamethrower just comes out of the doorbell. Yep. And now Bratok here, 2 Hellions and 4 Reapers. He wants to have a little bit of a look inside of the base of MilkiCow. MilkiCow only with half of that, and that army is nowhere near his main base. So he's getting a Cyclone. That Cyclone really should help out in this situation. He's got to be careful. If all these units just manage to get on top of a Cyclone, it still will be a lot of trouble here. Let's see how it goes. Does he have Marines? Okay, 2 Marines so far. Yeah, he just has to wait for the Cyclone here. Reapers go in. There it is. Let's get a lock on. The Reapers a little bit terrified, do try to run away, but one of them does get locked on. Bratok losing some workers here as well, but less of a threat that MilkiCow goes in the main.
A lot of carnage, but the damage is relatively equal. If we kind of take a look at that battle report, 4 SCVs going down, but Bratok actually going to be able to get out of it with only losing Marine as we have a small skirmish in the top. And this is kind of what you said. It's very volatile. But I think one of the things that is good for Bratok, or Bratok, as chat's trying to tell me.
Bratok, yeah.
Yeah. Is the fact that with that reactor so much quicker, he's able to kind of transition into his next stage of the game that much faster. And that next stage is going to be something you don't really see too often with the new Raven meta. It's going to be a nice little Banshee.
Yeah, it's surprising that Bratok still goes for the Banshee after seeing that MilkiCow didn't skip the Cyclone. It could still do a lot of damage. Where is that Cyclone position now anyway, right? Where is that going? It's at the very forefront of the natural. Oh, but he's moving it backwards a little. That always helps. It's coming in very quick on that reaction, isn't it? No, he stopped moving. Never mind.
Oh,
I thought he was reacting to the Banshee.
Yeah, Cloak just about to finish up, but this is already going to be some decent damage coming in, denying the lock-on there. That was great.
Cyclone.
Oh, gets it. Oh my god, that was beautiful.
Okay, no more cyclones around, so now it's up to those Marines, and I don't want to get this wrong yet. They do not have stim just quite yet. It's going to be a rough one. We don't have an engineering bay either, so missile turret's not going to be around. It's up to that small group of unstim Marines now to keep it safe. To be fair, that Banshee was already pretty low. Second Banshee comes in, though. 3 more SCVs down in the dirt, puts into the ground.
Oh my goodness, this is absolute carnage now for MilkiCow. He has to take so much attention away just to deal with this, and while he will get that next Banshee, 7 more workers have gone down. Mules are good, but not when your opponent has them as well.
Yeah, and that's if he, forgets to use them. But Bretok, I mean, he's such a veteran. That's probably not going to happen here. Oh, catches a siege tank as well. That should go down. The repair of the SCVs, it's brave, but will not be enough.
And now this is going to give Bretok a pretty big window without that siege tank. That's just a little bit less firepower here. A scan going to go down, revealing that the army is not right where the scan is. And that's going to start ringing some alarm bells here. Remember, Romanticide, since he doesn't have that third base up, that position is quite exposed and could lead to a lift up into the main base if there were medevacs.
It's a very nice time for Bretok to try and get this to move in. Guess he was waiting a little bit here for that other force to be able to poke in from the other side, but he should still be able to get these siege tanks in a pretty reasonable position. Considering MilkiCow's siege tanks are behind the command center, at least that should be under quite a bit of threat here. The Marines jumping forwards, a little bit clustered. They do manage to take out both of the siege tanks now with Vikings on the ground as the buffer. 6 more SCVs go down, but this army on the run, I'm not sure if it's going to get away.
This kind of seems like a death by 1,000 cuts situation here for Bretok. He's trying his hardest to just kind of get these small bits of damage and disengage. MilkiCow, though, trying to make it painful for him as he lands his own Vikings. And now Bretok will probably lose everything here as Stim is complete. Now, on Bretok's side, this is mech as well. So all that aggression that he's been doing is definitely going to be slowed down quite heavily since he now needs to kind of power up and stay defensive for MilkiCow's push coming across the map.
Yeah, I mean, he has a siege tank count of 4, so as long as they're sieged up here, it should be all right. There's the 2 Ravens, though, of MilkiCow, and they can really put a wrench in the gears of Bretok. Let's see if this will manage to get anywhere in position. The siege tank's already there as well. I mean, the Viking count of MilkiCow is nice, but it's all in the orange, right? If he had them all alive, maybe would have felt more comfortable to try and make something work there. But backs up, I think that's the right choice here. I don't think he would have gotten a lot of damage dealt there.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the thing against a meching player. You have to find some damage. You have to kind of slow them down, as the Hellions going to do just that. A beautiful lineup is going to get those Hellions quite a few kills. 5 going down. That could have been way worse. But
yeah,
now you kind of got to pick and choose where you're going to go, because that Viking count just going to slowly rise. That air control probably going to be dead, since you do need medevacs going for bio. And it's just going to be tougher and tougher the further out Bretok kind of pushes himself.
Yeah, I think like one of the ways for MilkiCow to try and make this work, right? He wants to try to ramp up his own expansion speed and make it very, very difficult with his mobility for Bretok to try and keep up that same expansion speed base. And then afterwards, MilkiCow probably a transition into some sort of a sky army where he does have those Ravens coming into play, maybe liberate a Viking, right? Very important that you have that air control, because that allows you to deal with the siege tank advantage of Bretok. Otherwise, I mean, bio running into siege tanks, we've all seen that happen, and we know that's not really ever a good sight for the bio.
It's even worse when you do it on purpose.
It can get quite messy. Anyway, I mean, I'm very impressed with Braddock's harassment so far. I like the Widowmine placement here as well, kind of keeping track of the bio movements. And, I mean, in total, how many works did he kill off so far? 24. I thought it was a little bit more, but he might get a couple right now. So there, my worker kill count is sated right now. 28, that's right. That's quite a couple. That's almost 30 now.
Yeah, it's getting close, you know. It's getting to the point where I can't count because I went to public school, so... But now the Viking is just going to be shutting as much down as possible. We do have that Liberator hanging out in the main base, destroying the third. 8 more workers going down. And this is going to prompt MilkiCow to say, hey, I need to do something. But he is swiftly deflected.
Yeah, I like the upgrades here, though. It looks like MilkiCow realizing he's getting 2 starports. He's getting himself the air weapon upgrades as well. So it seems like that is where he wants to bring this game to. And that is what I believe to be the best way to kind of try and deal with one of these very entrenched siege tank heavy players. You just can't take any fights. You need to keep them on their side while you're expanding and then get that army transition to go into effect. All right, keeps a couple of units here and chases those Hellions off as well.
I think at this point you can't really afford to lose too many more workers here. Actually, never mind. I think at this point you do want to start getting out not only that 5th and 6th base, but you want to get a couple of additional oracles or orbitals. Excuse me, English is only my first language, but you want to get a couple. Yeah, you want to get a couple of orbitals and start kind of getting rid of some of those workers, relying on the mules a little bit more for your resources, just so you can have that supply advantage. But here we go, Milky gonna get a little bit of a poke in. That was a very costly trade, however.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, immediately you get close to those siege tanks and you get burned. MilkiCow trying to back up now. The problem is that as the bio Terran, normally you should be able to get yourself in an economic state where you're ahead because you're just more free to move around the map and there's less potential for aggression overall from those mech units. But yeah, Braddock, he's been running in those Hellions consistently. He's doing damage, he's finding it with Banshees as well, all sorts of things. And it's quite impressive. If you look at the income advantage tab, I mean, I feel like that should be the other way around, right? If you ask me which one of these players, just looking at the income advantage, who's playing the bio versus the mech, you know, you would think the blue player is, but it's the opposite way around, and that kind of has me worried here for MilkiCow. But he's not completely out of it just yet. I still have some hope for that air army coming in, but how many Vikings? 16 Vikings here for Braddock. He's preparing for it as well. Mainly making Vikings.
Yeah, he's getting ready. He still has a very nice air control, but now as he's starting to get close to that max out, this is where he wants to go for those slow, methodical pushes. Not necessarily trading out supply, but he wants to, you know, snipe a base here and there, maybe get rid of some of the siege tanks to make room for that air army, which, by the way, he's going very heavily into, including Thor's, just in case he does lose that air control. So yeah, he's got plenty of good positioning here. And MilkiCow just really struggling as he's only rotating on one side. We can kind of see Braddock doesn't really have a lot, only 2 siege tanks here. With a good spread, you could break through that. But he's just really focusing too heavily on one position.
Or Hellion harassments here on that 3rd base coming in as well. I don't know how he managed to do it with the army right there on that choke point pretty much. He still manages to just sneak 3 Hellions by, no big deal. Kills off 2 tanks, because why the hell not? At least he didn't get any SCVs this time around.
Yeah, and I mean at this point you don't want those siege tanks, right?
Yeah, it's okay not to have them because you are mainly relying on those. It's still nice, right? There's still a lot of firepower, but you're mainly relying on your mobility with the Ravens, interference matrixing and auto turreting your opponent's siege tanks. But yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. Look at that Viking count and that Thor count. It's It's quite terrifying.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if he's even going to get close, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of Ravens with this army, but, I mean, you're going to have to get on top of those siege tanks, and Braddock is not allowing him to. Those Vikings are perched right overhead. You can kind of see MilkiCow say, to heck with it. I'm going to go try and kill you. Good luck.
I think that's the best. Yeah, I think that's the best choice here. I mean, you wanna try to split up a couple of great shots there. I don't know if it was that. Widowmine probably was an entire field here. But yeah, your best choices here to try and get Braddock to split up his army, get him to try and fall back to his own side of the field. It becomes a lot more doable for your mobile army to just suddenly jump onto a bit of army that's mid-transition, trying to get somewhere else. Rather than just the big frontal push from Braddock and trying to absorb that, right? So I think this is a great call from MilkiCow, trying to create some opportunities here for himself, and finds his way almost into that main base.
Hey!
Those Vikings are killing all the Ravens, though. Oh, and the Medivacs.
Yeah, now these Vikings can just land. They do have the servos, so they will go down, and now... MilkiCow down to 68 army supply. Kind of take a look at that battle overall. Braddock was able to get 15 workers as well as all those Ravens. So this is just a really tough position now. That's kind of the problem when you're playing versus mech.
How many? There's still 11 siege tanks. I was hoping maybe that was going to be a little bit lower, so we might see like a big push of Marines do pretty okay against a Thor Viking. But yeah, with this amount of siege tanks still around, I guess they're spread out a little bit, right? It's a rough position. It's a really rough position for MilkiCow, but with some good maneuvering and managing to find a couple of good fights, maybe there's a shot for him, right?
Yeah.
It's rough, though. It's quite rough. These Vikings all they're lonesome.
Ooh, but they will be able to get some of these bases, focusing down the orbital and the Ravens as well. Oh, my goodness. 13 more workers.
Yes! Yes! This battle. Drop it down! Don't die! He didn't drop it anymore.
I don't think he had the time.
The Viking landing versus the command center landing micro. That's the best. All right, GG, there it is. Braddock just wrestled himself into an absolutely fantastic position, and yeah, the finishing blow there, more than enough to close it out.
Indeed. So, pretty decisive there at the last stage, and now Braddock goes up to match point. Remember, every single game counts here, as you do win money for every single match won in as well as that prize pool. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that's why these players are going to be going extra hard in these group stages. They want the cheddar, you know? It is Europe. They are known for their cheese. So they want the cheddar.
You think? You think there might be some cheddar?
Well, I think it's going to be pretty Gouda either way.
Gouda. You know the actual pronunciation of Gouda?
I just heard it the other day, and I refuse to pronounce it as like Gouda.
Okay. I mean, it's okay.
Go ahead for the audience. How do you pronounce it in Dutch?
It's not Gouda. It's Gouda. Gouda. You have an ow. Gouda. Yeah, there you go. It's close enough.
Yeah, well, you learn something every day. Unfortunately, the only Dutch I know is stroopwafel, which doesn't even sound right.
Yeah. Famous one. Yeah, also, you don't pronounce it like that either, but Dutch people just accept it. Yeah, that's okay.
I'm a foreigner, you know. So
yeah, we won't judge. It's all right.
But MilkiCow has requested a minute or so that's why we have a little time to talk. Go ahead. I know you were about to say something.
Yeah, I meant to say, like, it's funny for the Dutch people as well, because, like, at least for me, from my perspective, I don't really care how other languages pronounce certain words of ours that are used in those places, because you have some of these famous Dutch coaches, particularly for football, right, going out and just butchering English entirely. And for us, it's just a fun thing. For you know. It's just something to laugh about.
That's all right. If you can speak English well, I salute you guys in the chat because I certainly can't, and it's the only thing I can speak. So, yeah.
America, man.
America. Speaking of, don't forget there are North American. There is a North American side to this event as well. So make sure you do check that out. I don't think we're covering that today. I think we're just doing the Europeans. But yeah, still a lot of great StarCraft 2 left to come this weekend and the next. I'm just looking at this main schedule here, and you guys are going to love this entire thing.
Right. I think I will as well. I think I'll enjoy myself as well. Second game is already loading up here. Are there commercials going on? Am I talking through commercials?
No, you are not.
No? Great. Lovely. Here we go.
Yeah, instead, you are talking through the introductions, so take us away.
It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I'm known for. Top right side, we have ourselves a quite a young specimen of Terran. He's colored red, and he is called MilkiCow.
Insert awesome guitar riff that I totally didn't set up. As we jump over here to this lovely gentleman down in the bottom left side of Jaganantha. He is Baratok.
I mean, you know, with fighting sports, they have like their own song as they come onto stage. I feel like that is something you could do for StarCraft 2 as well, right? I feel like that would be nice to just get the personality of that player in particular as you're starting the game, kind of just shining through with a bit of music, right? What kind of music would they choose to represent themselves? That'd be pretty cool.
That reminds me of like a very funny story. For those of you guys who don't know, I worked backstage of WCS 2017 BlizzCon, and before the semifinal matches, we had Special and TY come up to the admin table and actually ask if they could get like one of those fighting jerseys, the one the big robes, and ask if they could, if they could just walk up through the crowd and start doing punches and stuff. And they actually sent, I believe, an intern out to look for it because it was right after Halloween, and the only reason they didn't do it was because we couldn't find one.
Oh man, that's a shame. Yeah, now with all the webcam shows, with the webcam faces on the StarCraft shows as well. I mean, we should make them do an entrance, you know, with that posse behind them and sunglasses on, like, you know, with the boxers dressed up as they come out into view on the camera and then sit down to play some StarCraft.
That would be That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
ESL,
that would be good.
These ideas are free, by the way, ESL. We know you're looking for new ideas.
I mean, if you want to pay for them, I wouldn't mind, but... Anyway, pretty regular openings here once again. I mean, both going for a pretty safe thing. One Reaper here does manage to get the SCV building the command center. Braddock was already a little bit slower with it, so now... even slower, but will MilkiCow be able to protect his own? Only halfway done, 2 Reapers and a Hellion. Running into what? What exactly? Okay, he's just 1 Reaper and a Hellion. Well, we know how that fight goes.
Yeah, it's just pure numbers. 3 is bigger than 2. And now MilkiCow actually just going to sacrifice these guys, give some time for that Widowmine to go down. I think Braddock... Ooh. A little bit of a spike of lag there. I don't know if he felt that, and that's what happened, but does lose one of the Hellions. Trying to keep this one alive because he's waiting for the Cyclone to come on in. This is a very dicey position for him, and now he is getting denied so much mining time. Braddock is taking a huge lead.
Yeah, he is definitely crushing some face. I mean, look at the SCV numbers right there, bouncing through the sky. So many being taken out. It is, it's a bad day for MilkiCow here.
Yeah, I think he got milked there, essentially.
Yep. If this was a ladder game, I would probably not be playing anymore if I was MilkiCow.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that you rage quit, but there is too much money on the line for that, Kozan.
Yep.
You know that, I know that, and the whole
It's
Twitch
true.
chat GM community knows that. And now, once again, Braddock, he did the same thing. The reactor is out, so he can get that transition in nice and early. And once again, it's Raven, or excuse me, Banshee. Do you see a Raven anywhere for MilkiCow?
Let me look around. Oh, I'll find it. Find it if it's there. No, it's not. It's not there. It's not that passive. Yeah, I mean, he took quite a bit of damage there before in the previous one as well from the Banshee, but I mean, who knows? He might be okay, right? He might be okay. Let's make it exciting. He has a Viking. Look at that. Doesn't have stealth. Oh no.
No.
Oh no. Well, just when your things can't get any worse. Oh, he lifts him up. Nice. Good dodge on the lock-on.
Definitely a good save, but this just allows Braddock to go for this big attack here. We do see the Viking landing, just trying to get whatever damage that he can. As we see the Viking going to be just kind of flying around looking for it. But now the Cyclones are in position. Are they going to try and dive in here?
Banshee in the main is already there, trying to create a bit of an opening. Those Marines chasing it down. Okay, there we go. Nice pickup. Just trying to keep up for now. So he's losing more workers.
He doesn't have cloak.
I mean, yeah, no, he doesn't need it.
Yeah, it looks like MilkiCow, he's desperately trying to get these kind of two-base pushes in, but unfortunately, Braddock just has the perfect intercept army here with those Cyclones, with the Marines already out on the map. So MilkiCow continuously being forced back, and that's just going to put him further and further behind. In TVT, aggression is key.
Yep. You know what? In these moments, I say Doom Drop. Just try to Doom Drop, MilkiCow. Just get all your units in a couple of medevacs and just pray it goes well. I mean, that could still turn this game upside down, right? If you force Brattlk to move into all of your siege tanks already sieged up with Marines there, stimmed and ready to go, and then you take the fight. That's some way, somehow, but will Brattlk allow something like that to happen? Doesn't have any missile turrets, but, and then again, I mean, MilkiCow only 1 medevac and 3 siege tanks here.
Indeed, indeed. And once again, Braddock going to be going for mech. See, I don't know if I like this on this map. There's a lot of high ground on the attack paths, so I can kind of see one of the good reasons for it. But at the same time, that's a lot of ground to cover as you start to get out towards that 4th and 5th base expansion. So, well, I guess if MilkiCow just decides to walk right into it, maybe it's a little bit easier. But, yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough if MilkiCow recovers here.
Well, I mean, he's keeping Brattlk on his own side of the map. It's unfortunate Brattlk already has that 3rd base on location, of course, and, well, the 3rd base for MilkiCow is still a regular command center. Somewhere in the main base, I believe. Yeah, there it is. So, he's just not being able to get any space. He has not been able to get on top of Brattlk anywhere where it actually hurts. And Brattlk just macroing up here, nice and steadily. Did kill 8 more workers overall, but it's only 3 difference right now. Bigger army supply difference. So, you know what? If MilkiCow does manage to secure this 3rd base and then actually take a pretty reasonable fight, he might start to actually be in a pretty tied up situation again, right? But he does need to have one fight go quite nicely for him in order to get there.
Indeed, indeed. And I mean, that timing for a nice fight is slowly being whittled away, because now Braddock has immense control not only of the skies, but positionally he's just very solid right now. So MilkiCow kind of recognizes that. He's saying, okay, I need to go. I need to get something in. I need to at least trade out because if you can trade out efficiently with a bio army, then yes, you're gonna be able to remax a little bit quicker. But you gotta find that right angle, and unfortunately, Doomdrop's not gonna be on the table. That's one medevac with this army.
Yeah, well, that's 2 more.
Hey,
I mean, you know, just go for it. 6 siege tanks in those 3 medevacs, right? Nothing else. Just just fly in and go for it. Now, I'm seeing MilkiCow still being, you know, you gotta admire that as well. He's still trying his best not to just try and pull a quick one, hoping to get a victory there. It could be your way to still make this happen, right? I'm not sure if it's the biggest chance you have, because MilkiCow, I mean, looking at the supplies overall, he's doing a really good job with his macro. He's got his 3rd base. Needs to watch out for those siege tanks, of course, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I thought it would be in a worse position overall. I thought that may have been a bigger difference being developed, but he's been able to keep it pretty tight.
Indeed, indeed. We do see he is trying to keep eyes and tabs out on the map, which I do kind of like. If we take a look at his vision after this Liberator goes down, we see he does have a couple of Marines on the main attack pass.
Another one in the main, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
And this is just denying so much mining time. Kind of take a look at that little bit of an income graph here.
He's in a 3rd as well now. Oh my dear lord.
Jesus.
So much harassment everywhere. Ratalk just, he doesn't know how to chill, Passa. He just doesn't know.
There is no such thing as chill. This is full on heat since Blue Flame is done. And look at this, the Hellions. A citizen's arrest, but I mean, they are so susceptible to another run by here. I would love to see just one Hellion one-shot everything here.
Just maybe grab all those SCVs quickly and just make them auto-repair one another for a moment. But yeah, is MilkiCow actually ahead now with the supply? It makes sense because he is going for the bio, quicker to make. Can he actually keep Bratok from taking a 4th, or maybe he will have to try and keep him from taking a 5th here?
Yeah, again, it's just kind of that tricky situation.
Because he doesn't really want to try to push in here, right? Like, that would just be him running into siege tank with bio units. He needs to find an opportunity where Bratok is either moving himself or just a place where there's not enough siege tanks to actually defend against the full force of MilkiCow. But with all these Widow Mines spread around, Bratok has that sensor tower as well in the middle. He's in a very easy position here with these 4 bases to kind of have this army in the middle and move back and forth wherever he needs to go. See, I don't see MilkiCow really making a great move here, unless if he tricks Bratok, making him think he's coming from one side and then suddenly coming in from the other.
Yeah, but it looks like MilkiCow, he's focusing so heavily on these frontal attacks versus mech. Again, you just can't really do that now, and look at this. There's one position that you can get in. Braddock is slowly closing down his main base with that missile turret wall of death. So I think if MilkiCow had hit those positions earlier when there was nothing, he would have been able to shut down at least some of the production. As this Widow Mine, another nice connection.
Yeah, it's just like an observer that is killing people as well at the same time, right? That's these Widow Mines right here.
That is so annoying.
Not bad at all.
That's so annoying to deal with as well, because while he is getting his additional orbitals up now, I don't think he wants to be using those for scans as much as he wants to for mules. But
yeah, it's more important for the bio player to gather up all those minerals, right? Yeah, so it is a bit more important for MilkiCow. How many command centers can one guy make? Both of them just making 3 at a time right now. It's all good. Oh, more Widow Mines. Yeah, that's just disgusting. To be fair, MilkiCow, he's making a presence, and that's kind of what you have to do on the other side, but he's never committing, and that's a good thing as well. He's never like, all right, we're spreading out and we're going into the siege tank line. He's always running dashing around the edges and trying to find openings. And this might actually finally be one of those openings as Bretok is trying to move up. There we go. This is a beautiful attempt here. Let's see if that planetary fortress that will go down to repair. Not enough. Some of those SCVs, they were a little bit tired in the arms. Didn't feel like repairing there.
That was absolutely fantastic. And now the Hellions that got sent across the map, they did deny that CC for just a little bit of time. But, oh my god, that was exactly what he needs.
You know that thing where if the SCVs... Actually, there's more stuff happening here. Hold up, there's... I don't think we're going to get a big fight, right? He's not going to try to push this. Is he good? Oh, he might.
Oh, no. That was...
Too many seed tanks there.
He had a good advantage there, but now he's going to have to reset this army. I get when you're trying to trade out supply, but you have to be a little bit more decisive because you can kind of see he kept pulling back, and he didn't get as much as he could have. Now, scans go down everywhere. It's...
Yeah, it's the most important thing in TVT, just knowing what your opponent is doing. Anyway, as I wanted to say, the planetary fortress, right? If you have your SCVs repaired up to full, they stop repairing. I feel like that is one of those kind of shocked faces that a kid would have once he made a beautiful sand castle and then it just gets knocked down straight afterwards. I guess that's the same feeling, right? That SCVs have. They just made this beautiful planetary fortress all nice and shiny again. And in come those marauders and marines just shooting the hell out of it immediately afterwards. And then you're shocked, right? You don't feel like doing it all again. Anyway, couple of siege tanks here being found out by the Vikings. Easy pickings right there. But this is a real push, of course. Bretok, 115 army supplies strong. There's quite a couple of siege tanks on that high ground for MilkiCow, but that base on the left side are quite exposed.
Oh, he does have the Raven, but not utilizing it just yet. So he will just kind of focus on getting rid of that. But unfortunately, he's trading out some of these tanks. Like, look at that. He's getting right in range of the siege tank line. But now finding the position, MilkiCow says, okay, I need units, but I also need to trade some out as he loses 2 bases. Things are getting dire, but there's still a little bit of hope here in this small ragtag bunch of units.
Has to be so careful, MilkiCow here with his Vikings. There's 2 Thors there. You want to bulk up your Vikings to try and get bot shots off, right? To get all the Vikings to attack the same thing and have as many of them shooting at the same time, so you get out immediately. But with those Thors there, man, that's a scary thing to try and do.
Yeah, you know what the sad thing is right now? MilkiCow, thinking that he has air control, is starting to go into Liberators. If he had more Ravens, I would say the Liberators could help out more, because if you get that anti-armor missile in there, and then get that splash damage of the Libs, then it would be a little bit better. But now he's trying to focus too heavily on defending on the low ground with the Libs. And while Bretok will retreat for now, he is just going to send these small little run-bys of siege tanks everywhere.
Yeah, he realizes the time of the siege tank is falling apart here. Just wants to grab more Vikings right now. So that is where this battle is going towards. Of course, to be fair for MilkiCow, it's going to be nice to be able to supplement those Vikings with Marines as well, if he sees fit. Does have the upgrades for them, of course, so there's a bit more ways he could bring his army composition into.
Indeed,
big push from Bretok. Once again here, that's sort of siege tanks.
That is a lot of siege tanks, and the Liberators are without their escorts right now. It looks like the Vikings on the other side, way out of position, and that's going to be another base gone. He is running out of bases. I mean, he did have a bank at one point, but 1,000 minerals this late into the game, a bank is... It's a bank during the Great Depression, essentially.
And massive anti-armor missile as well. This is not looking all too great. MilkiCow is making another move, though. Will be trying to head his way into some of the bases of his opponent now. do similar amounts of damage, and it is forcing Braddock to move with his entire army back. He needs to get that planetary, though. Doesn't quite get it.
Oh, I thought there were Hellions somewhere in there, but yeah, Braddock still completely maxed out. Look at the landed Vikings. Oh my goodness, that servo upgrade is just literally paying for itself in gold.
Yeah, it's helping out quite a bit here for the almost pure Viking army here of Braddock now. It's it's one of those units, right, where if you just start playing the game, it just seems like a fun unit to just max out on, just only Vikings. And, you know, if the pro players are doing it, then you may as well try to do it yourself also. Here we go, another push from Braddock. Will this be too much now? I mean, MilkiCow cannot, as you said, sustain many more base losses. And these two might fall very quickly.
Yeah, these Vikings just getting ripped apart. We have this small siege tank over there doing what he can. The Vikings uncontested in the sky. +3 upgrades as well going to be coming in, so they are going to be that much beefier because Braddock already has +3 armor. And, I mean, yeah, MilkiCow's just going to have to hope for the ground battle here, but Braddock meeting him and his gaze, and that is going to be it for this series as Braddock just going to push his way through to victory.
Yeah, it looks to be the case. All those Widow Mines now burrowing. Oh my god, think of the friendly fire on those Viking potential there. Doesn't quite work out that way. Had to be a little bit careful. But yeah, wins